Hey, this is Jesse with Create This. It's April 2nd, 2017, and we haven't done an update for Meshmaker VR in a while, so I thought I would go ahead and do that. It's probably been about a month and a half since the last update, and it's been about 3 months since Meshmaker VR was originally released. Let's dive right in here. In the settings panel, we have colors now. But before I do that, let's talk about the Skybox. So currently you can see stars in the Skybox, and that is the space Skybox here. We also have a sunset Skybox, kind of nice, and a blue sky Skybox. So if you'd like to arrange a scene, or maybe the space Skybox feels claustrophobic to you, you can certainly do that. So I'll do the rest of this demo with the blue sky Skybox. Looking at the color picker here, you can drag the colors like this and pick whatever you want. And you just trigger click to drag. Normally in Meshmaker, the grips drag, but I felt it was more natural to trigger click to drag with the color picker. So what can you do with that? Well, let's see, we have new primitives. So we have a circle primitive. And the cool thing about the circle primitive is as you rotate your controller toward the center mark, the number of vertices increases. And it also works the other way if you want to do it that way, as you rotate toward the center mark, but it's more natural to rotate under. As you rotate left and right, the circle pivots along that center point with you. So that's, pretty nice. You can make some nice circles there. We have a number of different selection modes here, but it starts off as selected by default, and you can move it around after you do whatever. You can delete it, whatever you want to do. But you can see it's blue. Blue is the color of our fill color. So if the next one, if we want it to be yellow, let's go ahead and change the fill color. And we'll create a cylinder this time. So there's our cylinder. One click defines the bottom, second click defines the top. And it looks orange, but that's because it's selected. So if we go back to triangle select mode, it's now yellow, like we expect. Now these work with snaps as well, so you can turn snaps on and we can select our cylinder. And so this is useful if you want to make a perfectly straight cylinder of some kind. Like say a chair, table leg, or a stick, or whatever. Useful for making things straight. Turn those snaps off for the rest of the demo. And then the third primitive, I'll go ahead and delete that one this time. So I'll just hit the delete button here. And then the third primitive that we've added is the sphere primitive. This one's really crazy. So click in the center, and there's our vertices, and it's just like the cylinder and the sphere. As you rotate towards the center, the number of vertices increases, which is really trippy. And it'll also bog down the machine pretty quickly. But you can make a few of them if you just stick to the default vertex size, or even bump it up just a little bit. So I'll create that right there. All right. And that snaps as well. So there are two different kinds of triangle selection. This is useful to point out. So the first kind is this one, which is select verts by triangles. And so when you do this one, as you select a triangle here and you click it, you'll notice that the vertices become selected around the triangle. So I'm going to select this one, and it's going to select this vertex over here. Well, there we go, vertice selected. Now, the other triangle selection mode under triangle selection just selects triangles. It doesn't select vertices. And so there are only two modifiers or buttons or whatever you want to call it that work with that mode right now. But I plan on adding some more, like delete. But delete doesn't work with it right now. So if you want like delete or copy or paste or extrude or something like that, you have to choose the select verts by triangles, which frankly it does some weird stuff that you wouldn't expect sometimes. So be careful with it. For example, if I select this triangle over here, you notice that it's selected the triangle in the middle, and that's because it's selecting the vertices, and then it's selecting any triangles that are selected when the vertices are selected. So it's a little odd. But I plan to build out this, this more intuitive triangle selection section in the future. Let's go ahead and deselect all of that. Select a plane to deselect it and then go back. And then I'll just select this face here. One thing that you can do is you can click something that's been selected already and select it again, and it'll unselect it. That's something that we didn't have before. That's nice. Oops, missed one. There we go. Okay, so that face is selected, and so now I can extrude it. So let's hit the extrude button. And before, when you would extrude something in the previous version, it would just kind of offset it just a little bit so that you could grab a vertex. But now it actually extrudes it along the average of all of the normals that have been selected. So these lines here are the normals, and so the average in this case happens to be going this way. It's still not quite ideal. I want to work on that some more in the future. I've got it on the timeline on the roadmap, but it's pretty good. So, and then you can go from there and do whatever you want. That also works with snapping. So let's go ahead and delete that. All right, so let's say we want to color some triangles. So the first way we can do that is we can use the select verts by triangles. We can choose a triangle. We can choose a fill color. Let's go with orange this time, okay? And then we can select the fill button. You know, you can go to plane mode and you can see that the triangle has been colored appropriately, or you can go to triangle selection mode, and this is more intuitive because you can select kind of non-adjacent triangles that, you know, like this. So I've selected just these 3 triangles, and then if I want to fill those, I can do that, and I can choose this one here. Okay, but watch what happens if I tried to do that with the other selection modes. So say I tried to do non-adjacent triangles here. Let's say I start with this one and then I try to skip one. It selects the one in the middle. So that's why you might want to use this triangle selection mode. It's just more intuitive. So now that we have colors on our objects, when we go into move scale mode, you will actually see the colors on the object as well, which is really useful for like building a scene and then taking a screenshot or something like that. Oh, and the other thing that we've changed is in reference images. My reference images are a little bit screwed up right now because they are on their side, but in reference images, if you get your reference images exactly the way you want them, you can hit this lock reference images button, and now whenever you're around the reference images, they won't select or scale or move or anything like that. You can't grab them, so that's really handy. If you plan to, for example, place a vertex right on the reference image, you can do that now, so that's useful. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Hope you found this video interesting or useful. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.